What up? What up? What up? What it do? What it do? What it do? Wednesdays. Welcome to Old Boys Corner. Welcome to Old Boys Corner, the growth sector. Just a small town country boy with big city dreams. Like, share, comment, subscribe, support the channel. Make sure you hit that like button. Try to make everything we do over here have replay value. So even if you can't catch it on the live, make sure you check out the content. As you see, the title says sometimes it's too late, and that isn't right. There's a lot of talk about, DV, domestic violence. Man, it's worldwide. It's city to city, state to state, county to county, men and women, women and men, men and children, women and children, children and men, children and women. When is it gonna stop, man? And I would like to go on record and say, every situation is different. Every situation is different. Some is not just all about the woman getting away. Sometimes it's not all about the man getting away. Sometimes not all about the child getting away. Sometimes you leave, and sometimes you're hunted down. Sometimes you're stalked. Sometimes people stay and their life is saved. Sometimes people go and their life is saved. You never know. You never know these days, man. And we have to be very vigilant at this and be very careful of not to victim shame, which is a lot of times, this is why people don't speak up. They're not believed. Or people go with the more favorable person. And you can be a bad person, or you could have done bad things, but not been bad in the situation that led up to something. And it's just, I'll always try to live by this, man. Don't love me to DEATH. Don't do that. Love me enough to let me go. Love yourself enough to not put yourself in that situation where you got to go spend the rest of your life in prison and or on the run or hurt yourself. It's also important to try to know people's past, man. Because if not, you're taking a gamble. And if you do know their past, it doesn't mean that person is changed, but at least you'll know the gamble you got to take that you're taking. I think knowing is half the battle. And this is not always the case, but I'll always be aware of when you meet someone, they pull at your heartstrings because there's no one else there for them. Not all the time, but a lot of times there's a reason why that person don't have anybody in their corner. Most of the time there's a reason. Not all the time, but most of the time there's a reason. So just pay attention. We're going to run this content and run the story. It's one of them ones. So let's get to it. Once again, thank you for checking in Old Boys Corner. Let's go.
Look at you, just sitting right there looking guilty because he's guilty, y'all. Look at his face. Look at his face, y'all. Look how guilty he is. Look in his eyes. Look in those deep eyes. Do y'all see those eyes? Look in those demonic eyes, y'all. He killed my sister.
This is the story of Raisha Hurd, a fun-loving 31-year-old woman who was always smiling and was the life of the party. Raisha was a mother of 2 children. She became involved with a man by the name of Justin Rene Lewis, a rapper from New Orleans that went by the name Mad Music Cali, and she was reportedly 2 months pregnant by him, but she would end the relationship after he reportedly became abusive. It was discovered that he was previously married to fellow rapper Sidney Dalker, who was murdered and whose loved ones accused him of the crime. Tragically, Raisha would also be killed, gunned down in her parents' driveway in front of her young son with her loved ones, convinced that her ex Justin was responsible for her death. These murders would have many asking, was the murder of Justin's wife and ex-girlfriend a mere coincidence, or is he a cold-blooded killer? Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to DeKalb County, Georgia, celebrated for its rich history and diverse communities. Located at the center of the state, DeKalb County offers a special mix of city life and natural beauty. Raisha Hurd, a resident of DeKalb, was known to friends and family as Rain. She was a shining example of love and kindness. She was blessed with 2 beautiful children whom she loved the most. Her children were her world, and she dedicated herself to providing them with a nurturing and loving environment. The connection between Rain and her children was strong, and her family often admired how she made motherhood look effortless. Apart from being a loving mom, Rain had a job she cherished. She worked as a dedicated and compassionate nurse at a local healthcare facility in DeKalb County. Her profession was a reflection of her character, as she displayed empathy and care in her work. Her infectious smile was well known and had the power to brighten even the gloomiest days. Rain's radiant personality left a warm and positive impression on everyone she met, especially touching their lives. Rain was in a relationship with Justin Lewis, also known as Mad Music Cali, a Louisiana rapper known for his attempts to gain fame by freestyle rapping for celebrities. The 2 had been dating for a while, but their relationship was troubled. Rain experienced mistreatment and abuse from him throughout their time together. Rain's family has shared that he was mean and hurtful to her for many years. This abusive behavior led Rain to break up with him. Their toxic relationship caused Rain to feel scared, and her family was very worried about her safety. On October 11, 2023, tragedy struck. Rain was in her parents' driveway on Kelly Chapel Road, unloading groceries from her car's trunk when she was brutally shot multiple times. This horrifying event happened before her young son's eyes, which left a devastating mark on his young heart.
Family still reeling after someone shot and killed a young mother in the family driveway. It happened on Kelly Chapel Road. Raisha Hurd's family tells Fox 5 her 8-year-old son watched it happen.
Family members and friends say they are frustrated because there has been no arrest, and they say they know exactly who did the shooting. And even more upsetting, they claim the shooter has been on social media many days since the murder.
And I just feel like I just want justice for her.
Justice that Raisha Hurd's best friends say is coming too slowly. The young mother of 2 boys, who's described as the life of the party, was gunned down, DeKalb police say, in her parents' driveway. Family members say Raisha was getting groceries out of the trunk when someone ambushed her from the side of the family's home on Kelly Chapel Road. They shot her multiple times. Her youngest son, just 8 years old, watched it all.
Words couldn't explain how bad it hurt for them to have witnessed that is unexplainable. It's so hard.
Both the family and Rashida's friends say they know who shot her. Keep in mind, several of the family members were.
And then it's not that it's right at all, but to do it in front of the kids. Like, not that it's right at all, once again. But that 8, 9-year-old, it's gonna make it hard for him. I hope that child gets the therapy and the support that he needs.
at the house when the deadly shooting occurred. DeKalb police say they have identified the suspect, but they are not yet ready to release his name.
He's doing a lot on his Instagram.
He's taunting us. He's taunting from.
Yeah, he wants to go viral from this. So, yes, we know who it is.
Meanwhile, Raisha's besties, who have known her since 9th grade, say they will miss so much about her.
Her smile.
She always had a smile, big smile. She touched a lot of people's lives. She had a lot of friends, and she was just so loving and caring.
The investigation into her murder started, and Raisha's closest friends revealed that they knew the identity of the shooter. What shocked the investigators was that the suspect had been actively using social media after the shooting, even taunting the victim's family.
I'm not running from nothing, you feel me? This is a girl I used to mess with, you feel me? Like, so, I don't know what to say about that. I feel like if they people felt like this, they spreading the rumors through the internet. Crazy how everybody try to bring you down when they really don't even know what's going on.
So the girl who got killed, that wasn't even your baby mama?
Nah. The one from now, like the one that they saying, it could have been a possibility, you feel me?
So that was your current girlfriend?
I ain't got no girlfriend at all. You feel me? Only thing is my wife. That's the only girl, you feel me, that ever, my wife.
The police, although they had identified a suspect, were not prepared to release his name at that time. Rain's family and friends were not only saddened by her loss, but also deeply troubled by the fact that the criminal appeared to be boasting about his actions on social media. It was a disturbing and insensitive display of behavior. Raisha's family was unable to contain their grief. They believed that the shooter was trying to gain fame from this heinous act. In a twist of fate, on October 19, 2023, Mad Music Cali was arrested, hinting at a possible turn towards justice. However, the story takes a darker turn as it is revealed that he might be linked to another murder case. In 2017, a 25-year-old woman named Sydney Dior was discovered to be shot to death. Sydney was Mad Music's deceased wife that he is referring to in the live video. Rain's family is living through an unimaginable nightmare. Her death was sudden and didn't make sense. What's even more heartbreaking is that her 2 young children were with her when she was shot. Her lifelong friend describes her as a kind, loving, generous, and hardworking person who always had a smile on her face. The search for the shooter continues as the family and community grapple with the loss. They implore anyone with information to come forward, share it with the police, and help bring the perpetrator to justice. Family and friends started an online fundraiser to support funeral expenses, and the children and the police offered a $25,000 reward for any information that could lead to the capture of the shooter. DeKalb County Police identified and arrested Justin Renee Lewis in connection with her murder, finally bringing a sense of safety and peace to the family.
The family of a pregnant mother killed in her parents' driveway says they're relieved that police have made an arrest now. They say while the suspect was on the run, he was posting on social media and even responding to their posts.
And Justin Raisha Hurd was killed right here in her parents' driveway. The family says a year ago, they lost another family member to gun violence. They say Raisha helped them deal with that death, and now she's gone.
Our family is devastated. Devastated.
The Hurd family is crushed after a gunman shot 31-year-old Raisha Hurd 7 times in her parents' driveway, killing the pregnant mother of 2. Police have charged Justin Lewis, a rapper who goes by the name Mad Music Cali, with her murder. Raisha's family says she had broken off their relationship because he was abusive.
This is a person who has mistreated her for years.
The family says Raisha was shot in front of her 9-year-old son. They are relieved Lewis is in custody.
I'm just happy that Justin is captured because we don't want anybody else to experience this. No other family.
The family says this isn't their first brush with gun violence.
We just buried my brother last year for gun violence.
Raisha was the glue that held everyone together.
That was my rock. She was really helping me heal.
Now she is gone. The family couldn't believe it when they saw Lewis on social media after the shooting, like nothing had happened.
I actually posted that he was wanted and that we were going to find him, and he liked it. He liked the status.
They are now urging people to recognize signs of trouble early in relationships and get out before you become too attached.
Don't fall in love to find out that You know, your hands are not for hitting, they're for hugging.
The family says they're on a mission.
We're going to definitely seek justice for Raisha.
With the recent arrest in Raisha's case, there's growing speculation about whether this man might also be connected to Sydney's murder. Sydney's sister was convinced that her sister's husband, Mad Music, killed her.
You killed my sister. Look at you just sitting right there looking guilty as, because he's guilty, y'all. Look at his face. Look at his face, y'all. Look how guilty he is. Look in his eyes. Look in those deep eyes. Do y'all see those eyes? Look in those demonic eyes, y'all. He killed my sister.
DeKalb police successfully located and apprehended Lewis in Forest Park, providing some much-needed relief to Raisha's grieving family. Ralph Hurd Jr., Raisha's brother, reflected on the loss, saying that he is gonna really miss his little sister. The family remembered Raisha as someone who treated everyone with kindness, and the fact that she endured mistreatment was deeply distressing for her loved ones. Currently, Justin Renee Lewis is in custody at the DeKalb County Jail, facing a charge of malice murder. Raisha's story is a painful reminder of the brutal consequences of domestic violence, an issue that should not be taken lightly. With Justin Renee Lewis now in custody, the family can begin to rebuild their lives, knowing that he is off the streets and will face justice for his alleged actions. Raisha's memory lives on as her family and friends cherish the beautiful moments they shared with her, a woman who brought light and love to their lives. As the legal process unfolds and the court case progresses, her family remains committed to seeking justice in her name. My condolences to Raisha's friends and family. May you continue to heal and one day find peace. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Lord, as a mother,
Man. When does it stop? Like I said earlier, every situation is different. And like the caption said, sometimes it's too late. Sometimes you can leave. They hunt you. They stalk you. They don't take no for an answer. Sometimes people choose to stay and live to tell their story. You know, the victimizer leave on their own, or more than likely finds another victim, right? Because it's a pattern of behavior. But typically when dealing with this type of person, right? Like this person attached themselves to a certain type of person. And also there's another look at it. Certain type of people attach themselves to these type of people. It goes either way. And it's sad. We can play these stories over and over and over. And the outcome be the same, but the storyline is never the same. The situation, let me not say storyline. The situation is not the same. Over and over and over again, we see this outcome. And almost like you can say, well, you make better selections. A lot of times that you know, the devil doesn't show himself. Be the devil in sheep clothing. Think it's pure. You think it's right. So I don't know the easy way of saying knowing. Like I said, you can say get to know a person's background first. But then there's a lot of times there's a soft story behind that. They lying on me, it didn't happen like that, And That's a gamble that you're willing to take at that point. And anybody have to ask themselves, am I willing to take this gamble with my life? Because that's what you're doing. You're taking a gamble. You're taking a gamble with anybody. I just refuse to believe that. I don't know what goes on in the minds of people to where it gets that bad to where I want to end my life or someone else's that I supposed to once love. To me, that's not love. That's driven by hate. That's driven by misguided anger for whatever reason. Whether it's childhood trauma, whether it's adulthood trauma, whether it's sexuality trauma. And we're going to get to this next story. That was on my heart because I know it's going around right now. So, it's real on my heart, to jump on and do a little something. But we're going to get into the next one. I ain't going to talk you to death.
Pray for these two babies. Hold their heart, God.
We love you, Erica, and I'm sorry that this happened to you, but I'm pretty sure there's a higher plan for you up there. God was just calling you home in a unique way, and we promise we're going to carry on your legacy down here.
And celebrated the woman they say meant so much to everyone she knew.
This is the story of Erica Atkins, a popular bookstore owner and mother of two who was deeply loved by her community. Erica entered a relationship with 38-year-old Romero Johnson, who was also one of her employees. After their relationship ended, the two remained friends and sadly, one day Erica would be found dead floating in a nearby creek with her ex-boyfriend accused of her murder. What would cause him to take her from her children and all of those who loved her? Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Locust Grove, Georgia, a city just south of Atlanta. 42-year-old Erica Atkins, a resident of Locust Grove, was a mother of two and an owner of a bookstore called Birdsong Books.
Welcome to Birdsong Books, Better Explored.
Erica was a cherished local business owner, and her bookstore, Birdsong Books, was a popular spot that frequently organized events for the community. These gatherings helped bring people together, making her store a central hub for local culture and connection. Erica was described as the heart of her family. She was a beloved figure, earning respect and admiration from many people in her community. To her family, Erica was much more than just a business owner. She was an educator, a mother, a friend, and a cherished relative, playing the roles of both an aunt and a niece. Her influence and care deeply impacted those around her. Her greatest joy was being a mother to her two children, a 21-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. Erica was in a relationship with 38-year-old Romero Johnson, an employee at her bookstore. At some point Erica broke up with Romero, but they remained friends and he continued to work at the bookstore. Erica was reported missing early on a Sunday when friends and loved ones couldn't get a hold of her. A friend noticed her front door was open to her home and called police. The next Monday, the day after she was reported missing, Erica's body was found by a fisherman floating in Cedar Creek. Cedar Creek is just 35 miles south of Atlanta, several miles from Erica's bookstore. During the investigation into her murder, authorities identified 38-year-old Romero Johnson, Erica's former boyfriend, as the person responsible for her death. He was arrested and charged with her kidnapping and her murder. To dispose of a body like that is just heartbreaking, senseless, said Locust Grove Police Chief Derek Austin. It's such a sad situation. Someone she obviously trusted enough to have at her home would do something like this to her, he said. Investigators used flock cameras to track down Romero after he was identified as a suspect. The father of Erica's youngest child reported that he was aware Erica dated Romero, but she had broken up with him. During the investigation into Erica's death, investigators discovered surveillance footage that showed a person grab a sheet or plastic lining from the garage at Erica's home and take it to cover her body that was laying in the driveway. The warrant also stated that officers discovered earrings in the driveway, known to be Erica's, and a small amount of blood. Detectives got a search warrant and discovered human blood in Romero's car. Investigators claimed Romero initially lied about his whereabouts. When they presented him with a timeline based on flock camera footage of the murder, he asked for an attorney.
A heartbreaking situation involving Locust Grove and Putnam County investigators. Authorities found the body of a bookstore owner in a creek.
Authorities have arrested Romero Johnson in connection with the case.
We just spoke to that woman's exhausted daughter. She said she just doesn't have it in her to continue talking about her mother's death, but she is encouraged to see her mother's legacy. This bookstore will live on. If you take a look at your screen, you'll see the number of flowers and mementos left in her honor. Reading can take you places.
Erica's always been very well educated.
And that's why family says 40-year-old Erica Atkins was so passionate about literacy. She owned the Birdsong bookstore on Peaksville Road, and it is now her legacy and still open despite her death. Locust Grove police had already searched for Atkins since she was reported missing March 5th. Police immediately identified Romero Johnson as a suspect in connection to her disappearance and put out warrants for his arrest. Tuesday, her youngest child's father.
As you see, it doesn't matter how successful you are, how broke you are, how pretty you are, how ugly you are. It doesn't matter. DV is DV. It doesn't have a look. It doesn't have a lifestyle. Or the person it targets, or the person that wanted to get away and couldn't get away, or tried to get away and it didn't work. It doesn't have a lifestyle. Stay woke.
Father stopped by the bookstore to pay his respects. He gave insight on how Johnson and Atkins knew each other. Are you comfortable telling me what you know about him?
Yes, I've met him on several occasions. They were dating at one time, and from my understanding, she had broken off with him. And maybe it's just a result. I don't know.
The same day, the Putnam County Sheriff's Office found a body not far from Highway 129 in Cedar Creek and confirmed Atkins' identity.
Locust Grove Police sent us a picture of her. I was able to instantly identify her. And from talking to them, we determined that her death occurred in Henry County, not Putnam. This was a case of her body just simply being dumped here,
Something so senseless, and I think that's on everybody's mind. Why?
Romero is currently in custody at the Henry County Jail. How and why Erica was killed is still being investigated. Erica's friends and loved ones were shocked and devastated at the news about her death. Jasmine Atkins, Erica's daughter, expressed the profound grief the family is experiencing.
It's hard. That was my mom.
Jasmine Atkins is mourning the loss of her mother, Erica.
We're hurting. We are. She kept everybody together. She was the glue.
Jasmine says she's trying not to focus on how her mother's life was taken, but the legacy she leaves behind.
Owner, educator, mother, friends, aunt, niece. She impacts people's lives. You don't just meet Erica Atkins and never forget her. She's going to impact your life in some kind of way and elevate you.
This perspective reflects Jasmine's desire to honor her mother's memory by celebrating the enduring influence she had on others. Erica's death had a profound impact on the entire community.
There were many hugs, hardly a dry eye in sight outside of the Birdsong bookstore in Locust Grove on Saturday night.
From there, her and I became friends, and she was my sister.
Dozens came together remembering the owner, Dr. Erica Atkins, who was kidnapped and found dead last weekend.
And you can see how much she was loved with the number of people who showed up outside her store.
From frequent visitors.
She's always been there. Even when I'm just in her store lounging around, she always just talks to me, laughs.
To her loved ones, like her two children.
She was amazing.
Words of admiration filled the air.
Every time she came into somebody's life, she impacted it.
Locust Grove City Council members even read a proclamation.
This is Erica Akins Day, Robert Price, Mayor.
They'll be only happy team. And as the sky grew darker, there were moments of silence. With heads bowed, hands stretched, and eyes closed, they joined together in prayer.
Lord, as a mother, I pray for these two babies. Hold their heart, God.
Not only grieving her tragic death,
We love you, Erica, and I'm sorry that this happened to you, but I'm pretty sure there's a higher plan for you up there.
but remembered.
God was just calling you home in a unique way, and we promise we're going to carry on your legacy down here.
And celebrated the woman they say meant so much to everyone she knew.
Her bookstore was a popular spot where many locals frequented, drawn by Erica's kindness and the welcoming atmosphere she created. Her warmth and friendliness made everyone feel at home, turning Birdsong Books into more than just a shop, but a cherished gathering place. Losing Erica was deeply painful for all who knew her, as her presence had become an integral part of the community's fabric. Her absence left a void that was felt by many, underscoring the significant role she played in the lives of those around her. The terrible event that happened to Erica was completely unexpected and shouldn't have happened. She had broken up with her ex-boyfriend, but decided to stay friends with him, never imagining that he could hurt her. Tragically, this decision ended up costing her her life, showing how relationships can sometimes turn dangerously wrong when least expected. My condolences to her friends and family. May you continue to heal and one day find peace. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Second.
Hey. Once again, DV doesn't have a lifestyle. It doesn't impact a particular woman. I don't know. Let's go.
It's after Timmy Brooks walked into court.
We're gonna have to deal with this here.
Emotions erupted from some in the packed gallery filled with family of Montrese Mitchell.
We're gonna have to have people remove them.
Brooks was removed, and deputies settled things down after pleas from Mitchell's father.
I'm somewhat lost for words. My family's upset. I'm upset. We can't even grieve without a lot of the nonsense that's going on.
And how his family ended up here.
She just turned 30 April 12th. For her to lose her life at such a young age.
This is the story of 30-year-old Montrese Mitchell, a mother of three who was known for her kindness and compassion for others. She found love with 29-year-old Timmy Brooks, a troubled individual with a dark past. While out on bond for felony charges, the two would get into an argument when Montrese found something on his phone. Tired of arguing with her, he decided to shoot her multiple times, including a fatal shot to the head. What would make him turn a simple argument into cold-blooded murder? And how could he take this mother from her 3 children? Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Kenosha, Wisconsin. 30-year-old Montrese Mitchell was a single mother to 3 wonderful girls, Janie, Jada, and Zamia. She was a CNA and worked at South Wind's residential home as a caretaker for about 3 years. She was known for her bubbly personality, always ready to lighten up any gathering with her humor and laughter. Montrese was the kind of person who was always smiling and ready to share, even willing to give you the shirt off her back despite her own needs. Her 3 little girls were her world, and she loved taking her daughters to parks, going for walks, and enjoying ice cream with them. Montrese developed a romantic relationship with 29-year-old Timmy Brooks, a man with a complicated background. Timmy was a convicted felon who was out on bond for several other felony charges at the time. His social media activity suggested that he was dealing with personal struggles, indicating a man facing internal conflicts. He posted, "I truly pray and ask God to give me the strength to carry on and be a better person tomorrow. The devil has been trying to get at me in all sorts of ways, but just like he said, he's just a prayer away. Every time I call on him, he heals me and is always on time. I would like to thank God again for saving my life. Despite his troubled past, Montrese found something in him that she connected with, though his history and current circumstances pose potential challenges to their relationship. Like in any relationship, the couple experienced their share of conflicts and disagreements. However, no one could have predicted that these typical relationship disputes would escalate to a tragic and fatal outcome. Kenosha police were called to the Wyndham Garden Hotel on 6th Avenue around noon on May 25, 2022, in response to a medical emergency. The housekeeping team had discovered an unconscious individual on the floor of one of the hotel rooms. It was reported to the dispatched officers that the room was rented under the name of Montrese's boyfriend, Timmy Brooks. Upon entering the hotel room, the officers found the victim, who was identified as Montrese Mitchell. Shortly after, emergency medical responders arrived on the scene and immediately began administering life-saving measures. Despite their efforts, Montrese was ultimately declared deceased. During their investigation, authorities discovered 4 .22 caliber shell casings scattered throughout the room, including one found adjacent to where Montrese's body lay. Additionally, detectives utilized surveillance footage from the hotel to determine precise times when Timmy and Montrese arrived together, as well as when Timmy departed the room alone. Investigators also interviewed guests who were staying in the room next to Timmy's room. These individuals reported that they were awakened by noises that they suspected were gunshots. Investigators now identified 29-year-old Timmy Brooks as the main suspect in Montrese's murder, and they obtained a warrant for his arrest. That same day, on Wednesday, May 25, Timmy surrendered himself to the Milwaukee Police Department.
Yeah, I want to talk to somebody, homicide, take the man.
But this happened in Kenosha, right?
Yeah, but he over here, and I'm trying to get him so, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Talk to the homicide detective over here, so they can transfer and talk to him. You see what I'm saying? Because he in another district, and I don't got no car to go where it comes.
Okay, so you drove here, or you see the let me call them and see what they have to tell me. What's your last name, man?
My name is Stevens.
You have your ID with you?
Yes, I'm telling you, buddy. I'm so bad. I can't even call.
He wears a smile on his face.
And you're the one that's involved?
Yeah.
I give you my ID, I know you put it up.
Put it to me, Junior. You want to go?
So you're wanted?
Yeah, you know, right now.
Look, it just happened. It just happened this morning.
Right now.
But he wanted in Kenosha because he just did something. He killed the girl this morning. That's what he's trying to say.
So you're trying to turn yourself back?
Yeah, the right way. I ain't gonna
tell myself, man.
I want him to do the right thing. I'm his mom.
Yeah.
And I want to do the right thing. So could you do talk to somebody? Can I talk to her?
All right, do me a favor, step on this side.
Me? Him, because he gotta make sure he got him to lock him up.
I'm gonna put ankles on your okay? So I verify this.
Oh, he needs to go. No, he still, I told you, they still got to take second Kenosha. That's how they do up here. Oh, I ain't never been in this. Yeah, my little brother, calm down, man. My only brother.
Just stay there for now.
The cop little lost his shit. He don't know what to do. Like, nobody come turn themselves in for a Erda and sitting there calm, smiling, mama with him, saying he want to do the right thing. He laughing. And this is different right here. Mercy. Let's go.
Why would you call upstairs?
Told you still not calling. So you know you do. Well, you know you do.
Do you have any weapons on you? No. Okay. Anything, any phone or anything on you? You don't have anything on you. Phone or anything on you? You don't have anything on you. This way.
This is crazy.
All right.
My brother big, he can't turn his own stuff in. Hell up. Excuse me, man.
Exactly. We don't mean that. Damn, what he did was any worse.
Cut it this next time.
Stop him having a moral part.
This crazy.
Should have done it.
You got voice for a kid.
You already said he got remorse for her kids. Sorry that happened. You know. Shout out to Janae. Shout out to all her other 2 kids too. Man, you stay crazy now.
I did what I was supposed to do. Come tell myself on
you told you, man. That's why.
You're not allowed.
Hold on. I ain't never heard that in my life.
During an interview with investigators, he recounted that in the early morning hours of that day, an argument broke out between him and Montrese. She was confronting him about something she found on his phone. Timmy admitted that he became upset and grew tired of her arguing, which led him to pick up a gun and shoot her. Furthermore, Timmy confessed that after the shooting, he fled the hotel and took Mitchell's car. Dan Tambasco, the assistant district attorney for Kenosha County, characterized the incident as not only premeditated and cold-hearted, but also as an intentional act. This was a calculated callous, and frankly, it was an intentional act as well, he stated, emphasizing the deliberate nature of the crime. Charmaine Harris, Montrese Mitchell's brother, strongly argued that the accused should not be released on bail and should remain in prison. He said, "He doesn't deserve the chance of bond and doesn't deserve to see the light of day," emphasizing that the seriousness of the crime means the accused should face strict consequences and not be allowed out of jail. Timmy Brooks is facing several charges related to the killing of his girlfriend Montrese. The charges against Brooks include first-degree intentional homicide for deliberately causing the death of Montrese Mitchell, possession of a firearm by a felon.
You know what it seemed like to me was and I could be wrong, but there was some pressure on the street for him. You see, he don't want no bond. He's saying he don't deserve to get out, and I think her maybe her father or grandfather actually on the police force. So they can say there was no special treatment given, but we all know shit hit different when it happened to one of them and their families. You know, which, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's just, I won't get no comparison because it may take it left, but, you know, people, you know, things tend to go differently when it affects, you know, their own. So honestly, I think that's what's going on here. Let's go.
3 counts of felony bail jumping and 2 counts of misdemeanor bail jumping. These charges collectively portray a serious pattern of alleged criminal behavior by Timmy. At the time of Montrese's murder, Timmy was out on bond for 3 felony cases and had a prior felony conviction. The courtroom was charged with high emotions the moment Timmy Brooks entered for his initial hearing on Friday.
Seconds after Timmy Brooks walked into court,
We're gonna have to deal with this here.
Emotions erupted from some in the packed gallery filled with family of Montrese Mitchell.
You're gonna have to have people removed then.
Brooks was removed, and deputies settled things down after pleas from Mitchell's father.
I'm somewhat lost for words. My family's upset. I'm upset. We can't even grieve without a lot of the nonsense that's going on.
And how his family ended up here.
She just turned 30 April 12th. For her to lose her life at such a young age, you know, over something this crazy.
Wednesday afternoon, a housekeeper at the Wyndham Garden Hotel opened a room to find a woman on the ground. She wasn't moving. She was dead. That woman, the 30-year-old Mitchell. Court documents say she was shot 3 times. The room, rented by Brooks less than 24 hours earlier.
This incident all started over an argument in a hotel room about information that was on Mr. Brooks's telephone.
And when he tired of the argument, prosecutors say he pulled out a gun and shot Mitchell in the back of the head.
This was a calculated, it was callous, and frankly, it was an intentional act as well.
In the back of the head. Not that it's right, regardless. In the back of the head, and you're a coward. And I almost guarantee you what was on that phone probably went from no female neither, allegedly. I don't know that to be sure, but a lot of this stuff be leading up to shit like that. Let's go.
Wow.
Brooks turned himself in to Milwaukee police on Wednesday.
He doesn't deserve a chance at bond, nor should he ever see the light of day.
A court commissioner set Brooks' bond at $1 million. He was out on bond in 3 felony cases at the time. He also has a prior felony conviction.
According to Montrese's loved ones, she was staying at the hotel as a temporary arrangement after her home was damaged by a fire. Timmy pleaded guilty to first-degree intentional homicide. Tambasco delivered the sentencing arguments, painting a picture of a man who utterly disregarded both the law and human life. He requested that the judge impose the maximum possible sentence. Defense attorney Chad Shamali recognized the gravity of the crimes committed by his client, but advocated for the possibility of parole. He pointed out that Timmy had voluntarily surrendered to the police, provided a full confession, and entered a guilty plea, thereby relinquishing his right to a jury trial. Shamali also highlighted that Timmy suffered from mental health issues and argued that, if granted release in the future, Timmy would give his life to God. Kenosha Circuit Court Judge Gerald Digvillo first apologized to the family and friends of the victim. "There is nothing that I'm going to do. There's nothing that I'm going to say that will put you back in the position that you deserve to be in. And that is to have Ms. Mitchell here with you." Digvillo then detailed Timmy's criminal history and noted all of the chances Timmy had to address his mental health issues. "You had the chances to do what God expected of you, and you have opted to walk away from all of this," said Digvillo. "This was callous, cold, and heartless. This wasn't a momentary decision. Because if it was, it would have been one shot. But it wasn't. As laid out by the state here, this was one shot to the back of her head, and she went to the ground. There was no threat to you. And you fired not one, but 2 more shots." The judge then gave Timmy the maximum sentence allowed under the law. On Thursday, January 5, 2023, the judge sentenced Timmy Brooks to life in prison. Additionally, because Timmy used a gun in the crime, the judge added 5 more years to his sentence. While Timmy did offer an apology to the victim and her family during the hearing, he repeatedly looked back at them, smiling and making mocking gestures. The deputies, led by Lieutenant Gilley, effectively prevented him from being seen by the family during these instances. After the hearing concluded and Timmy was being escorted back to jail, he shouted at the family members, "I could have got 2 life sentences, I don't care," indicating a lack of remorse for his actions. Montrese's friends and loved ones held a vigil to honor her life.
A simple,
all right, everybody ready?
But important final message for Montrese Mitchell.
1, 2, 3.
A message that filled the skies of Kenosha.
We love her, we miss her, and it's forever with us. It ain't no letting go, ain't no RIP, it's do it for Woo.
I really appreciate that for all the people who came out today and who support my mom.
Her family, 3 daughters and friends stood with candles and pictures at the hotel where she was murdered.
Knowing that this is actually where she lost her life, it makes it even more harder.
Even through the pain.
I feel like we needed this, we needed to let everything out.
And the tears.
It's gonna take a while, but we got it. I think we strong enough. As a family, stay together, pray together.
3 sisters hold each other tight as they hold on to their mom's memory for life.
And I love everybody who came out today. And I'm gonna keep my little sister strong and I'm gonna take care of them.
What happened to Montrese Mitchell is unimaginable. It's shocking to think that a common argument with her boyfriend, something that likely had happened before, ended in such a tragic way. Instead of just walking away or stopping the argument, he reacted violently and shot her multiple times, including in the head, simply because he didn't want to argue anymore. This horrible act took away a mother from her 3 young daughters. Such a heartless and evil action shows he's a danger to others and shouldn't be allowed back into society. My condolences to her friends and family. This should have never happened to her. May you continue to heal and one day find peace.
Man. Yeah, now he was built different. Smiling at the family, turned himself in, smiling. Didn't want to get out, say he didn't deserve to get out. I mean, no remorse at all. I don't know. Let's go. This one right here, neighbors recorded woman being unalived by baby's father. The Latifah Brown story. Let's go.
Hey, yo, bro, hey, honestly, bro, hey, bro, just leave, if you want to take this, bro, go. Why? What did I do? I said let's do it. Back to Bumpy, I swear to God, man. Why? Oh, my granny.
The sister of a St. Paul woman killed by domestic violence is speaking out and hoping to help others. Prosecutors charged Mark Bell with shooting and killing his girlfriend, Latifah Brown, back in January.
They said she had been shot.
Buffy Brown thinks about her sister Latifah every day
It ended my world.
and the life she could have had.
Moment he put his hands on her for the first time with a belt, I knew right then. I think Latifah was like one of those women out there, who believe that, you can change them.
But things never changed until the police told her it was too late.
And I say, no, you lying. I spoke to her.
This is the story of 31-year-old Latifah Brown, a mother of a 1-year-old, who was in a long-time relationship with her boyfriend and father of her child, 36-year-old Mark Bell. The relationship was toxic and abusive, with the couple frequently breaking up and getting back together. One day after a night out at the bar, the two would get into an argument that would escalate, resulting in Mark taking Latifah's life. Her tragic death would be witnessed and recorded by their neighbors. What happened that night and how could an argument between Mark and the mother of his child escalate to murder? Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to St. Paul, Minnesota. Latifah Brown, 31, loved to cook and had a fun, playful side.
When you know you're cute and you still accept all your flaws.
Her sister Buffy Brown said she was always spreading love around. She was a mother to a 1-year-old son who she adored and would do anything for. Latifah was in a relationship with 36-year-old Mark Antonio Bell, who was also the father to her 1-year-old son. The two were in a relationship for 11 years, and reportedly Mark abused Latifah physically and mentally throughout the relationship, but against the advice of loved ones, she refused to leave him. Latifah's sister Buffy explained that the moment Mark hit her sister with a belt, she knew there was abuse. She reported that her home was a safe place for her sister, Latifah, to escape when things got really bad with Mark. She would only stay for a day or two and then leave, Buffy said. She'd tell us things like, "Oh, he bought me flowers," or "he said he was sorry." Despite Buffy's attempts to convince her otherwise, Latifah always went back to Mark. "I think Latifah was one of those women who believed she could change him, or that if she waited long enough, he would change on his own and get help," she said. In 2018, Latifah filed a police report stating that Mark had threatened to kill both her and her sister. Unfortunately, the city attorney's office didn't press charges due to a lack of evidence. Latifah and Mark's relationship was marked by frequent arguments, and tragically, one of these disputes would lead to a devastating outcome. Shortly after midnight on Saturday, the St. Paul police received a distressing 911 call, reporting an altercation followed by gunfire. Officers rushed to the scene at the 40 block of Lighton Place, where they found a woman in her early 30s lying outside, suffering from a gunshot wound to her mouth. The officers acted swiftly, administering first aid and calling for medical assistance. However, despite their efforts, the woman was pronounced dead upon the arrival of medical personnel. When the police arrived, they found two men inside the house. Both were taken to the police station for questioning. One of them was identified as Latifah's boyfriend Mark. The other man explained to investigators that he and Mark were attempting to help Latifah into a minivan to rush her to the hospital. According to Mark's account to the investigators, in the early hours of January 22, after he and Latifah returned home from a bar, they got into a heated argument. Mark claimed that Latifah, who was licensed to carry a firearm, brandished her gun at him multiple times, and he feared for his life, believing she intended to harm him. Mark alleged that he heard the distinct sound of Latifah's gun mechanism clicking as she aimed it at him. In a panicked response, he grabbed another gun belonging to Latifah.
Man. Does this story sound familiar? Just didn't get this far. Man. Let's go.
And discharged it away from her, mistakenly thinking he hadn't hit her. However, Latifah collapsed, prompting Mark's immediate efforts to bring her outside in an attempt to rush her to the hospital. Despite his frantic attempts, Latifah tragically succumbed to her injuries at the scene in the North End. A neighbor gave the police a recording where Latifah...
Are you saying wow for the same reason? Did you just, you caught that too? I mean, I'm talking about almost the exact same scenario. So if that happened the way that it was said to happen, this here could have been a viral crime on YouTube. That is, it's chilling. It's cringeworthy. Man. Jesus. Take the wheel. Wild as fuck. But there's been something going on in the sector. The Mo 3 sector. She looked at the gun. I got it first. Shit's crazy. Let's go.
Latifah and Mark were arguing loudly. Latifah repeatedly told Mark to leave her alone, and the neighbor even shouted at Mark to go away. The argument escalated, and Latifah swore at Mark. Then there was a loud gunshot, and Latifah's voice went silent.
Just leave. If you want to take this, bro, go. Why? What did I do? I said let's do it. That's the funky. That's the guy, man. What? Oh my goodness,
Don't make it now.
Fuck no mama. God, follow everybody, nigga. Get your son. I'm following everyone, bitch ass nigga. I promise you, nigga. Oh my God. Police coming, right? I swear to God, I'm following you, bitch ass. Hold on now. Nigga, I'm following your mom, nigga. Fuck you, nigga. Oh, man.
Oh.
Hold on now, man. I'm sorry, man. Hold on, man. Oh, hell no. Oh, people. No! No! Come on, man! I'm going to prison! What the fuck?
My sister was here, y'all. This is the house she lived in. They got the yellow tape up, you guys, because the crime scene people are here. If you can see, they got the yellow tape. This is where she was. And the cops is out here. And as you can see, and they're here. And this is her house.
I know, right?
She did the decorations on the window.
Real life, this.
She was
Man.
Mark was arrested and accused of killing Latifah. He agreed to a plea deal and admitted guilt to second-degree intentional murder, not premeditated.
Buffy Brown thinks about her sister Latifah every day.
It ended my world.
And the life she could have had. A young woman who wanted to become a nurse and raise a family.
Have that life of getting married and having, the happiness.
Brown says her sister was trying to find that happiness with Mark Bell.
I knew something was wrong.
She says the two dated for about 11 years, but the physical and mental abuse only got worse.
The moment he put his hands on her for the first time with a belt, I knew right then.
Brown says her home was a haven for her sister to get away when things got really bad.
Like always, she only stayed a day, 2 days, and then she left. And she'd tell us too, oh, he bought me flowers, or, he said he was sorry.
Brown says no matter what she'd try to say, Latifah always went back.
Well, I think Latifah was like one of those women out there, who believe that, you can change them.
But things never changed until the police told her it was too late.
I say, no, you lying. I spoke to her and they were like, no, we're sorry. I was like, no.
Now she's speaking out to share her sister's story in hopes of helping others.
Your life matters to people who love you, for those you love, because you deserve so much more than that. You're worthy of greatness. Latifah's life, she was worthy of greatness.
Pauline Lee, WCCO4 News.
Brown family is raising money through a GoFundMe to fight for custody of Latifah's 1-year-old son. The boy is currently staying with Bell's family.
During his sentencing, he apologized, saying his actions were cowardly and a mistake, claiming self-defense. He regretted his choice and wished he had acted differently. However, Latifah's family argued that Mark had the option to walk away from the situation, but didn't, instead choosing to escalate it. They confronted him in court, labeling him a coward and a monster. They believed the 20-year sentence given to Mark was insufficient punishment for his actions, expressing dissatisfaction with the legal outcome. Mark's sentence, in line with his plea deal, was shorter than what the state guidelines typically recommend. In Minnesota, most inmates serve around 2/3 of their sentence in prison, and the rest under supervised release. This means Mark might serve around 13 years. Kalinsha Harris, a cousin of Latifah's, expressed dissatisfaction, feeling that justice wasn't served for her. Assistant Ramsey County Attorney Ambrosia Mosby Velasco explained that accepting the plea deal wasn't an easy decision. They had to weigh various factors, including the lack of evidence for premeditation, Mark pleading guilty to intentional murder, a witness claiming to have seen Latifah pointing a gun at Mark, Mark's DNA found only on the gun's muzzle, and his cooperation with the investigation by staying on the scene. Mosby Velasco suggested that if the case had gone to trial, Mark's attorney could have argued self-defense, possibly resulting in a not guilty verdict. When Latifah Brown was killed, her son wasn't at home. Mark's mother was looking after him that night, and she's had temporary custody of him ever since. Judge Barch emphasized that the child deserves to be surrounded by love and encouraged Mark to ensure his son has ample time with Latifah's family, a sentiment Mark agreed with. She urged them not to let Latifah's tragic death overshadow her memory, especially for her son's sake. Latifah's sister shared her devastation over her sister's death, highlighting Latifah's deep desire to be a mother and her joy when she finally had her miracle baby after struggling with miscarriages. What happened to Latifah Brown should never have happened. An argument should never have escalated to murder. The tragic end of Latifah's life serves as a reminder that abuse, in any form, is never acceptable and should not be tolerated. When someone abuses you, giving them multiple chances often leads to more harm. Abuse rarely gets better on its own. In most cases, it only gets worse over time. The cycle of abuse is a dangerous pattern where the abuser's apologies and promises to change are followed by repeated violence and manipulation. It's crucial to understand that abuse is never okay. It doesn't matter if the abuser apologizes or shows moments of kindness, these do not erase the harm done. Abuse can take many forms: physical, emotional, verbal, or psychological. Each type is damaging and can have long-lasting effects on a person's well-being. If you or someone you know is in an abusive relationship, it's important to seek help immediately. Reach out to friends, family, or professional support services. Remember, you deserve to be safe, respected, and valued. No one should have to endure what Latifah went through. It is essential to break the cycle of abuse and ensure that such tragedies are prevented in the future. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Wow. Can't take too many of these back to back, man. It's gonna be Like I said, every situation is different. Not no one situation the same as you see. But what does seem to play a factor is the fact that there's a lot of warning before destruction. And a lot in the 3-4 cases we watched today, the warnings only triggered, maybe 2 of them to actually leave, but was still hunted down, was still stalked, was still harassed. The system let them down. TPO orders or not enough sufficient evidence, things of that nature. But what we did see was I thought it would change. I thought it would get better. I thought it was sorry. So once again, I always say it's a very touching subject. Let's just be vigilant. I've always been aware. And just be there for anybody that going through it, as much as possible. They need it. Let's take a moment of silence to actually for the victims and for the victims' families. Most definitely their kids. And with that being said, we're going to get out of here. Once again, appreciate you stopping by to Old Boys Corner, where we talk about real life situations. And once again, thank you for the support. We're building this thing brick by brick. No foolishness. Just getting it out the mud, doing it the right way. Having a place to where, we can just bring awareness. And we can talk about real life situations. With that being said, everybody enjoy their Wednesday and understand that a lot of times in life, it's not about what a person has done to you. It's about what is allowed. And I know that sometimes that's easily done and said. However, it is something that we really have to get into doing and into understanding. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here, and I always understand nobody can do you better than you do you. So always practice at being the better version of yourself. Keep your eyes on your own plate. Stay sucker free. And I'm out.